Okay, time to check some stuff. Gotta check the things. Do 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 do. Alrighty. So, bear with me for a minute because I was told that sound was a little choppy last time. So, we're going to check that out. And then we will get to talking about plastic toys. Maybe. Can we go, please? Let's see. We will get to talking about plastic toys. Okay. Sound is fine. We're good. That's just what I want to make sure. And that looking good. So let's get talking about some guys and some stuff and some end of the year and some ginger ale to start the morning off. So, basically I ended up playing WoW all day yesterday with my husband. So I didn't get a lot of progress done on any Tyranids. But I kind of ran into a roadblock, right? And that happens sometimes when you're painting or when you're modeling or really doing anything. You're going to hit some kind of obstacle and you're not going to know how to go around it. And everything you're going to try is not going to work out. That's going to happen. There's one specific phase in mini painting that's like 2/3 the way through that I feel like does that every single time. Where you look at it and you're like, I hate this. Your option is either to stop again or just keep going. And be like, nah, I know this is going to work out. I'm going to trust it. Going to keep rocking this. It's going to be good. And the other option is to start again. So, I've kind of hit one of those spots with my Tyranids. So I came up with a base color scheme that I like. Pretty out there, pretty bright colors. Crap. Swarm Lord goes down. He does in every book. Nice and vibrant. You sit on the table and be like, damn, that's bright. That's cool. Which is pretty darn cool. It also has good heritage to my Genestealer cults. And it has good heritage to my Necrons, who I also want it to be reminiscent of. So super happy with that. The problem comes with what happens after this. So this guy has his colors blocked in, right? Nothing's like super detailed up. Nothing's like really nice fine lines or anything like that. Now what comes the next step? Normally I do a wash, right? Like I do a wash. Either I use one of the standard ones, like Agrax Earthshade or something like that, or I mix my own using medium. But usually my next step is a wash. Then maybe a dry brush, maybe a little bit of highlighting, and then usually I'm done. That's usually how my steps go. So for the Tyranids, I started out using different washes. I'm still trying to figure out which one I like, because I don't think I like any of them yet. So I used Army Painter Darktone. Oh wait, no, this one's a Nuln Oil. It's not bad. It's a little darker in some areas, and I would probably like it. I think if I hit this with the dry brush, I might really like it. So that's something to consider. This is the Army Painter Darktone. Very similar to the Nuln Oil. I feel like it's a little bit darker, but I don't know if that's because his colors are the same or different. Then I painted the same model, and I put contrast paint over the top of it. And this guy came out very dusty looking. Ironically, at this step, he needs a wash but it really dusted out even like the blue and stuff, and I don't want it to do that. I'd rather have the richer, vibranter colors, even if they're a little dark than that. And then I did the same thing, but with Skeleton Horde on one side. I started applying this, and I was like, nope, I hate this. So I just stopped doing it. And I was like, okay, we're not going to bother doing that for the rest of that. So I've done these test models. I have to figure out what my next steps on them are. I'm really not sure. So, you know, gonna try a couple of different things like I've been doing. Really figure out which one resonates with me. Because the thing about the Tyranids is they're actually not like super detailed. If you want to get very detailed with them, it's sort of like through patterns and stuff like that. But the models themselves are actually really simple, so they crank out really, really quick. I just have to figure out what I want them to do. So that's where I am on the Tyranids. So unfortunately, I won't be painting any Tyranids today. But I am going to talk about some of the models I painted this year and some models that came out and stuff like that. And then we're probably going to do some little bit of basing to ring in the new year. I'll probably do a little bit of resin basing. So let's get started talking about some models that came out this year. I've got them all lined up behind me. So my most fun model of 2020 is this guy. This is Chubbs the Bountiful, my exalted, great, and clean one. He was the star of a bunch of games I had between lockdowns, where he fought Grey Knights and he fought some Gene Stealer cult. It was just a blast. In one of the games, I managed to roll for him and get him 8 toughness, so it basically makes him a tank. And then he also got a 4-up disgustingly resilient. So he was basically invincible. He even charged a whole army of Grey Knights and lived. And then I respawned him on the board for 2 command points. Pretty cool. Cool model. Really like him. He is reminiscent of a couple of things. One, the color differentiation on him is intended to be reminiscent of like a Joker kind of thing, because all of the Nurgle guys are, they're very happy, right? Like they're not like sad and brooding as their big zombies. No, they're having a good time, right? Like they're carrying on and they're being excited and they're like, yeah, this is good. We're gonna spread Papa Nurgle's fun times. So they're having a good time. So I thought it being reminiscent of like, how a Joker would dress like in medieval times was really cool. And also each one of the color sections coordinates to one of the colors that I used for like my Poxwalkers or my Plague Bearers. So he always, when I put him on the table, he looks like the culmination of all of the little guys that are around him. And that was pretty cool. He is also fully magnetized. His head is also magnetized. I don't know why I did that, just because it was neat, I guess. And he's got like some custom horns there as well. Oh, this hand's magnetized too. So, yeah, he was my most fun model of 2020. Was Chubbs the Bountiful as he fought Grey Knights and Gene Stealer cult, and he's just fun. All the Greater Demons are fun. This model is what convinced me to do a full 2,000 point demon army, like a demon soup army, which is not competitive at all, but like super thematic. So yeah, he is my favorite or most fun model of the year, I should say. So, model that I am the most happiest with. Well, I guess we'll start at number 3. Number 3 would be my entire Demons of Corn army. So they are all painted very similar to this, with the black stockings, the lighter inner body, the big dark tongue, and sort of the bloody skull base. You can see where it's got some reflection on there. It's actually super lightly poured resin, so he's got a little bit of depth there too. But this is my number 3 thing that I'm most happy with painting. So that is my whole Demons of Corn. I have about 25 power level, give or take, maybe like 30-ish power level of these guys. All painted up, all ready to play. I have not gotten to play them yet because of COVID, but they're my favorite, or they're my number 3 favorite for models that I painted this year. Partly because I did a bunch of test models on these, sort of like the Tyranids before, and I didn't like any of them. I was like, man, these are all terrible. Why can't these look right? And then just the colors lined up and they clicked, and I found this color, which is like heavy charcoal. This is the color of his socks and arm sleeves. I found this color and it clicked for me, and I loved how they look, especially with the super bright tongue. I thought it was super cool, and then I was also really happy with the basing idea. So one of the things I've been really trying to do this year is like improve my basing, and just have like unique bases. So I've been really trying to do that with the demons. So the Nurgle guys, they have the swamp bases to match all my other Nurgle stuff. These guys are on like Blood Ocean. You can see it reflecting there. My Tzeentch stuff is on like Warp Fire bases, so they have like little flames and stuff all over their bases. And then my Slaanesh stuff, they're basically going to be on Jizz bases. Let's be honest. They're just going to be like Ocean of Jizz. That's what their bases are going to be. Just like clear, semi-opaque resin. That's what their bases are going to be. But I've been really trying to improve some bases on these, and you'll see that more in the next model as well. But this army is my number 3 thing that I'm the most happy with painting this year. Then moving on to number 2. Number 2 is a big guy. Give me a sec. Oh, there he is. There he is. This is the Anxious Wolf, my Freeblade Knight, all done up. My husband had gotten me this guy as a Valentine's Day present, and I just, I love working on knights. Knights are so much fun. They're like one of the funnest things to paint in Warhammer. But he is my number 2 favorite thing that I painted this year. He is fully magnetized. All of his stuff is magnetized. Where does that go? Back in the hole. He is also magnetized on the waist, and he is also magnetized to the base as well. So if I was like, I don't want him to be in this base anymore, I could just take him off. Now the base, as I had mentioned, is something that I'm trying to improve on. I'm trying to get my basing game up. So I bought like $2 or $3 worth of like just busted ass terrain nobody wanted from one of the bitch stores, and I was like, all right, time to hack it apart, and that's what I did. So I just chopped it up. It was like this little tiny terrain little bit, and I started painting in a bunch of the detail on it. Then I got some wires and ran those. I got some custom little basing stuff, made that. These are like tiny little bits I clipped off. All this sort of other stuff, that's stuff I made to go around it to make it look fancier. Got some grasses, but yeah, super happy with how that came out. Because, again, like I normally don't do fancy bases, so I was like, yeah, this feels so cool. But yeah, let's put him back on there. There he goes. Just clicking in. And yeah, so he has a custom mask. So it's based on one of the existing masks that I sculpted, and then a lot of weathering. So you can see some of it's chewed up there. He's got rust all over him. He's got holes down here and in those little bits. You see someone's clipped off. He's got a bunch of extra armor too. It says arm falls off, that's fine. He's got a bunch of extra armor too, so like his gauntlet arm has extra armor from a Castellan knight. No, it's not a Castellan knight. It's a whatever the other isn't the Valiant. He's got some extra knight armor there. He's got his custom mask. He's really happy with him, how he's come out. And he's my number 2 favorite thing. My idea for this guy is sort of like he's from, a disenfranchised or fallen house, and he is now sort of out there battling his way across until he can't do it anymore. So he's just sort of on like this go until I die quest out there trying to help, menials and fight orcs and do whatever he can. And he's just go until he drops, kind of thing. So he's not getting a lot of repairs and stuff because he doesn't have a house to support him anymore. But yeah, so that is the Anxious Wolf, my number 2 favorite. But number 1 favorite, I actually don't have anymore. I actually have him, but I don't physically have him. He's on display at the local hobby shop. That is my knight, whatever the other opposite of a Valiant is, that I converted into a Morkanaut. I got the knight in a trade and converted him over to be a looted knight or Morkanaut for my orcs, complete with LEDs and tons of customization work. There are photos of him up on Instagram. I am very happy with that, but he is the number 1 thing I'm most proud of. But to show something off that I am working on that will probably definitely be one of my favorite models of 2021 is my Knight Valiant. I love this thing. I put a ton of work into this thing. I've repainted it completely, maybe 4 times. But she is fully magnetized as well, again in the waist, and tons of customizations. She has 3D printed knees, so she's got extra movement. She's got this big cable run into her flamethrower, bunch of little cables here and there. Everything's fully magnetized. She is fully magnetized as well. So my custom pilot. Come on, camera. Come on. That's my custom pilot there, sort of done ad mech-y style, out of some Necromunda stuff. And then you can see inside her cabinet, or her cockpit, bright pink seat. The door closes, so she can go to war. And then you can add her on. So my idea for this knight, which I'm currently calling Burning Desire because that's nice and cheesy because it's got a big flamethrower on it, is that the machine spirit is corrupted by Slaanesh, and the pilot is slowly being corrupted as well. But if you're a knight and pilot and you get in your thing and you realize it's corrupted by Slaanesh, you can't tell anybody because you're probably going to die. Worst case, you're going to lose your standing, and so you're going to have a bad time. So you're just going to have to keep quiet with it and deal with whatever tentacles sprout between your legs, and just keep it on. And I liked that idea. I liked the idea of the existential dread some noble knight would be forced into, having to, be the pilot of this thing. Thought that was pretty cool. She would be on the list as officially one of my favorite models that I painted. But I haven't finished her base yet. I got a 3D printer for Christmas, so I'm trying to get that up and running, and I'm going to print some stuff for her base. But I haven't finished it yet, so she'll be on the list for 2021. But yeah. That's my favorite painted models of last year. But some new stuff came out last year. Now, I tend to since I've only been doing minis since last June. Yeah, so like a year and a half or so. Probably like a little over a year and a half. And I've only been doing them for so long. A lot of the stuff is new to me, right? So, like this model is pretty old. The Gene Stealers are pretty old. Most of the Tyranid stuff's pretty old. You know, a lot of these models, they're like 5-7 years old, stuff like that. But they're still new to me, right? So I get them and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I'm painting it up, having a good time, you know. Because I don't really have a ton of heritage in this hobby. My heritage with hobby stuff is Gunpla. You know, it's it's these guys, you know. This guy really needs to be panel lined. But it's Gunpla. It's not Warhammer. So, you know, like I know a lot of like the history of these guys. I have a bunch of these from when I was a kid. Stuff like that. Wow, put him in a cool pose. Jump into the camera. But when I get, you know, these older models, I don't really have that with the Warhammer stuff. So, you know, it's all cool and new to me. But some models did come out this year that I did pick up. Since it's been such a long year, I forgot that the Sisters of Battle came out this year. But there was also some Drukhari, there was some Orc stuff. Let me rephrase that. There was one Orc that came out, and he's really cool. He's a nice model. I just built him the other day. Lots of awesome stuff came out for Warcry. And the new Necrons came out, which are super cool. There was some Amex stuff, which is super cool. A bunch of like independent characters if you like Space Marines. And then Space Marines got like a metric fuck ton of cool stuff this year. So I'm going to talk about my favorite models that came out this year, not just the stuff I got, because like, you know, I'd be like, oh, the Swarm Lord, and he's, you know, 8-year-old model, you know, or whatever. So, all right. As a runner-up, I want to say the Marines from the Indominus set are really cool. They're a lot more Space Marine-y. They're a lot more Crusader-y. They are really cool models. This is my like Deathwing like style one that I painted for my Space Marines. They're just super cool, and he's got a custom lion helmet because their Primarch is called the Lion. So, but all these Marines, they have lots of cool shit hanging off them, little gubbins, little things here and there. More of a melee focus instead of just being like, we have guns all the time. Really super, super rad. These Marines are. So he's my runner-up. My number 3 for this would be the Murder Giraffe. This is also from the Indominus box. It is a new Necron sculpt. It's basically like a thing that helps you reanimate your troops, so when they die, they can respawn better. But he's super cool. I love the like War of the Worlds style walker look to him. I also love that it's called the Murder Giraffe. That brings me great joy. It's actually called like a Canoptic Reanimator or something like that, but he's got some cool stuff on his base as well. He came with some nice bits. But I love just the character of this thing. I love how like spooky and alien the pose is, where it looks like quizzical and interested. You know, it's like looking to the side like, ooh. I think that's really cool. He's got this big heavy shell. He's got lots of cool stuff. But yeah, this is a cool model. I don't know how his rules are. I haven't gotten to play my Necrons because of everything that happened last year. But he is super rad. He's got a little bro Necron he needs to fix there in his base. It's like, no, dude, go back, fix that guy. He needs to reanimate. But yeah, he's he's my number 3 cool model for 2020 that came out this year. Number 2, you're going to notice a trend for it's an animal. Number 2 are the cowboy AdMech dogs. I love these things. These things are so freaking cool. They were like, what if cowboy, but also dog robot? But yeah, they're super rad. I did fully magnetize them. The doggo also has a fully magnetized head because there's a different style of doggo that they can be. This is my face is a flamethrower doggo. So he can get into combat, and then this guy can shoot his pistols in combat, and he can flamethrower people with his face, which is really cool. But these doggos, I love them. They are one of the reasons I chose to do a little AdMech army. Basically because I wanted the doggos. They're super cool. They're definitely one of like the main reasons I chose to do AdMech. There he is with he's got his little doggy cutie mark. But yeah, they're super rad. On the table, they're a lot of fun. I understand the other dog version of these is actually better because it can do a thing where it like falls out of combat and it still shoots, so they never actually get locked up into combat. But I think these guys are really fun, basically to charge into combat, even though they get wiped out really quick. He's got some dust on his base, but his base is all dust anyway. So yeah, number 2 would be the robot doggos for the AdMech because they're really cool. And again, they were a large part of why I decided to do some AdMech. So number 1, this year we saw the advent of lots of great stuff for Warcry. Really for AOS as a whole. AOS just continues to get weird and awesome models. And this guy is definitely one of them. So this is my evil llama. It is a Mind Stealer Spheranx for Warcry, and comparatively also Age of Sigmar. He basically counts as like ally you can add to any warband. And he is just an awesome model. Super, super cool. It's like a giant llama, cat ram with his fancy hairs there. You also get two sets of the heads for these. So if you wanted to have a fancy cat ram monster llama, more than one in your army, you could, and they would look different, which is super, super cool. At least, you know, they would look a little bit different, like the neck and the head is different, so. But yeah, there he is. His rolls are really, really fun. He can do stuff like completely knock out an enemy unit and be like, that unit can't fight this turn. And he can just do basically a bunch of damage out to guys around him. He is a super, super cool model. Lots of fun on the tabletop. And just a really weird design. I really feel like Age of Sigmar is doing all the like weird, crazy, fun designs that sort of Warhammer really needs. I feel like some of the Warhammer stuff is sort of trying to re-find its feet and trying to go more into like the gothic look, which isn't bad. It just, yeah, I love the Murder Giraffe. The Murder Giraffe is so much fun. It's such a great model. But yeah, the Mind Stealer Spheranx is my favorite model to come out this year. I think he's awesome. Really, all of the Warcry like add-on monsters they added are phenomenal. The Ogroid Myrmidon, also amazing, and he is a phenomenal base for doing your own custom demon princes. Just because it's such a great, big, bulky dude. Really awesome model. I love him to pieces. I've used him in the battle reports for Warcry that I've done on Sunday. I don't have the other one, the Fomeroid Crusher. He looks pretty cool though too, but yeah. This guy is definitely my favorite. He is a model to have come out this year. So yeah, so that's pretty much all of the like awards that I had to talk about. It's my favorite model, my most fun model, and my favorite model that I painted. We'll show off Chubbs the Bountiful again as being the most fun. Let me get his compatriot actually. Ugh. So when I showed off my corn demons earlier, this is the model I should have shown off. I should have shown off the little guy. I should have shown off the big guy. So this is my Bloodthirster of Super Rage or something. I don't know. They have stupid fucking names. That's my Bloodthirster. He's on the same kind of blood base as the other guy. There he is. He's also fully magnetized as well. So if I get tired of him having this, he can have like a big choppy hammer. Yeah. Whoa. This is the one I should have showed off for the other guys. You can see the back of his wings. Pretty darn cool. So he will join my 2,000 point demon army I am working on, where it's going to have one of each greater demon. And it's going to be super fluffy and super, super not competitive. Like, it's going to be terrible. But yeah, still pretty cool. So, yeah, those are my favorite models and most fun models. And guys, I had the best time ever with this year. Now, I normally like to stream for like an hour, so I guess we're going to do some bases now. So, because I wanted to do resin bases on Wednesday, I didn't get a chance to because I wanted to add a little bit more to the bases for my trees. So instead, I am going to work on the bases for my words, Josh, for my Gene Stealer call. So let me grab some of them and I'll show them off as well. Boop, 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 boop. So I put together about a 25 power level force for the Gene Stealer cult, converted them all to be Skaven, and you know, the little tails and little rat heads, and they're super, super adorbs. Rats enjoy driving tiny cars. They find it relaxing. I just need to finish up their bases, and then they are ready to play. So, with all of my Skaven, they all have sort of these rocky sort of dirt bases, and then sort of wet puddles on top of that. So we're going to do up some wet puddles because it means I'm going to get to do a little bit of resin mixing and stuff. And I wanted to do that last time I streamed. Again, I didn't get a chance to. So we are going to be using Vallejo water texture still water. This is essentially like non-UV resin that you don't have to mix or pour. It takes a long time to set. You'll know it's set when it becomes a little cloudy. So after it becomes a little cloudy, you're going to need to hit it with a high gloss. And once you do that, you'll get, you'll get like a puddle like these guys have. You also can't pour it thicker than 3 millimeters or it risks cracking. And like all resin, it's going to shrink in. Because all resin, at least liquid resin things, they all condense. So you have to make sure the stuff on the base is really, really on there or it will pull it up. So if your paint isn't like fully dry, you haven't let it cure for like 24 hours, anything like that, it will pull the paint off the base. Same thing if some of the stuff underneath is down by like PVA glue you haven't given time to dry, it'll rip that shit right up. So you want to avoid that as well. So since I want these to be mud puddles and not just little puddles of water, I'm going to put some color in there. So I'm going to be using a little bit of leather brown. Just because this to me looks like slightly different dirt. It looks like wet dirt to me. That color does. So it's a little bit lighter, so it'll stand out over the mud as well. It's not the exact same brown color like something like Gore Fur or something might be. So I don't want to put this stuff on my normal palette because it's going to run really, really bad. And it's also going to take forever to dry, so I don't want it to get on the normal palette and just be a big old pain in the tail. So I like to use bottle caps because this way, I can mix a custom like more runny paint on these and then just throw it away. It doesn't matter. I have a lot of these from painting my Nurgle guys. And for those it's perfect because like if some of this comes up in the new paint or whatever, that's just more detail on that model, so I don't really care about it. And then we're going to use a brush that we don't care about. This guy is super dead, so we're going to use him. And just going to mix this up. It should make a really, really gross looking brown paste. There we go. Now we're going to paint on some mud puddles. So this is going to condense some, so you don't really want to mind. Let me get the dog hair off of it. You don't really want to. You don't want to mind too much if it's, kind of messy. I mean, it's supposed to be a puddle. It's not going to be perfect. Oh, yeah, so I guess we can try to put some on the wheels and see how that looks. A little bit of like a track or something for it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's gonna go through, add some mud in like that. It's got some tire tracks now. We'll try to put some up on the tire, see if it sticks. You can hear how fucking thick and nasty, or sticky and nasty this brush is. So yeah, there he goes. Lots of nice little mud puddles now. Alright, just gonna keep doing the same thing for these little rat guys. Less about making a pattern for them though, and just trying to get some stuff on their base so they break up a little bit. Again, this isn't super fancy, but it's pretty cool, and it adds some, you know, like it. Okay. Let's find a different dead brush, because that one just broke in half. This one will do. Just to show how chewy that was. That one just snapped. But yeah, just gonna go back, gonna blop a bunch of this on. I can't imagine that the Skaven don't live in a place that's not filled with like disgusting standing water and like puddles and stuff. Like I can't. My brain is like, nope, that's entirely 100% where they live. There we go. Let's actually mix a little bit more of that up because we've got quite a few of these guys to do. But while I do this, let's talk about 2021. The year that's hopefully going to be better for a lot of people. I think it has to be. So how bad 2020 was, which you don't want me to talk about because you don't want to watch a grown, fat, hairy man cry on camera. So, I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. I assume you don't, because that would be weird. So don't do that. That's strange. 2021 coming up. The year that's going to save us, hopefully. So what do I have planned for this year? Well, I have a perfect grade Zaku 2 I am working on. He's going to be custom painted and custom colors. So that's going to be pretty fun. He, right now, as far as I'm planning it, is going to be like weathered and beat up. Like the Zakus that you see at the, or in the middle of 8th MS team, the ones that are like attacking the city. Or like, you know, occupying the town rather. He's going to be beat up like that. So I have his frame all built, and I am painting his armor as I've been painting his armor for a while, but lockdown has not helped with that. And then I ran out of Gundam paint, so I need to get some more. So I have him painted, or him that I am working on. Another Gunpla project, I'll be doing Master Grade Barbatos with his optional armor. I'll be painting and weathering him up. Probably the first form and the 6th form. So the first one's the one with the little arm shield, and the 6th form is the one with the big claw. So I'll actually be painting 2 of them to go in my cabinet. And that's pretty much it for my Gunpla plans as it stands right now. I might be doing a GBWC kit. I might do another bad guy from the most recent Build Fighters anime, and try to weather him up and stuff, have some fun with that. But I'm not sure on that yet. As of right now, it's just the Barbatoses and my custom perfect grade. As far as models, I have about 3,000 points of Tyranids to paint, who I've been showed off at the start of this video, and I've been working on the channel. These are the Aberrants, by the way. They're sort of like more mutant guys. This one's got 2 little rat heads sticking out, so he's extra mutant. So I'll be working on them as well. They're going to take me a while. I'm going to prioritize doing like 500 points worth of them, so I can play with them on the channel, and so I can play with them IRL. But I'm going to try to get about that 500 points done, so I can get them rolling. It's going to include the horror specs, a Gene Stealers, probably a Brood Lord, and that's about 500 points. Like 2 units of Gene Stealers, a horror specs, and a Brood Lord is about 500 points. That's what I'm going to pretty much be prioritizing, so I can get them on the table in one fashion or another. Besides that, to go with my Demons army, I was also gifted a Greater Demon of Slaanesh. So I have to work on my Slaanesh demons, who are in this box, plus the Greater Demon, who is on the floor. There she is. So yeah. So I've got them to work on as well. They will probably be my next project. After my 500 points of Tyranids, I will probably work on my Slaaneshi demons to finish that army up. And then I have 2 start collecting boxes for Seraphon that I also got for Christmas. So they need to be done as well. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them yet. So they're probably, as much as I love the lizard guys, they're really cool. They are probably the furthest back project, just because while I love them, and I was really sad there wasn't a start collecting box for the lizard guys, or no, a Battle Force box for the lizard guys. Behold my Magus. Isn't she pretty? Technically with Skaven, though, this would just be a dude in a dress. Because Skaven ladies don't actually look like ladies. They're like these huge, like, birthing monster things. But it's cool. I mean, if he wants to wear a dress, more power to him. It's 2021 after all. This is my Clamavis with all of his Pied Piper guys. But yeah, so I got the Seraphon as well, but they're probably a little bit further back of a project, just because I'm not sure what I want to do with them. And I haven't done any research on painting for them or come up with a scheme or anything like that yet. So they're probably a little further back. Before them, I'm probably going to spin up a whole new group of orcs. Because I have already started working, as I've shown off on the channel, on my quote-unquote WA boys, which is going to be my Fury Road themed Mad Max orcs. So they're going to be all white, with sort of the raccoon style eyes and things like that. I think that's kind of funny because, one, WA boys is an amazing pun and I love it, and two, Mad Max is set in 2021. I was also motivated to do it with the passing of Immortan Joe. So that finally motivated me to be like, all right, I need to do some Fury Road orcs because it's too cool not to. So they're also on the table. But I probably will not be getting to them until at least April time, somewhere around there. I will be doing my Tyranids beforehand, and then the Demons of Slaanesh. Biker mice! Biker mice! Oh, shit. Don't fall over, biker mice. Four-wheeler mouse! Get it. So fun. So yeah, those are sort of my upcoming projects for this year. Other stuff I would really like to do this year. I want to get some cultists spun up for my Chaos Space Marines. I'm going to build those out of all Necromunda models, so that they're have a little more personality than the generic cultist kit. But I want to get those spun up in a minute when I'm done painting these. Hello. In a minute when I'm done painting these, I'll talk about my greatest failure of 2020. Figured I would save him for the end when I wrap up. Go. But yeah, so I wanna do some cultists for my Chaos Space Marines. I also I want to do a Fire Slayers warband for Warcry. And that'll pretty much just be 1-star collecting box. And I also want to get a Flesh Eater Court star collecting box and spin that up for Warcry as well, including the big dragon. Because I like the big, or I guess it's not a dragon. It's it can be a dragon, but I mean the big bat. I really like the big bat. I think it's really cool, and I want to spin them up as well. And yeah, those are pretty much the two things that I'm planning on starting that I don't already own. Minus some orcs. I need to buy some more orcs. I need to buy some more Tyranids, but Fire Slayers and Flesh Eater Courts are the two that I'll be starting completely fresh later in the year. So they're not anywhere on the table anywhere soon. There you go. We got some mud puddles there. So they're much more of a way later kind of year project. There we go. All right. So there we go. So that's all of my guys. Let's go, since we have extra stuff mixed up, let's go add some back. Puff it up a little bit, because this does shrink because it is essentially liquid resin. It does shrink, so having extra on there isn't bad. It will just make it a little more apparent. And then in a day or two, when this is fully 100% dry, I am going to come back and I will hit these areas with the high gloss as well. I'm going to get some more up on the tires and stuff. I'll hit these with the high gloss, and it will retain its nice clear shine, because otherwise that's going to disappear, just because of how the resin dries and stuff. It will lose the shine. There we go. Just going to go back. I'm going to use up everything that I poured out because there's no reason not to use it. just to get these guys a little more gross, drippy, nasty standing water on their bases. So these are how my real Skaven army is based. So I want them to match because these are my Skaven in the future. Go. And here we go. Oh yeah, these guys are all magnetized. That's why they're wiggling around. I do have to say, I don't know how I feel about magnetizing all troops. I've been having conflicting feelings on it, on if you should do it or not. Sometimes it's a pain in the tail, doing the really tiny ones, you know, like magnetizing this guy. That was a pain in the ass. Like that's a 1 millimeter magnet in the arm and then a 1 millimeter magnet in the wrist. It's a pain. It's such a pain. Oh my god. Yeah, so I don't know 100% how I feel about magnetizing troops. Especially with like these big guns like this. Like this guy's technically magnetized, but to slide that big gun off, I'd probably have to scratch the paint, which is not something I really want to do. So I think in 2020 I'm going to try to not just magnetize, or 2021, I'm going to try to not just magnetize everything, which is sort of what I've been doing. And I'm going to try to magnetize stuff that makes the most sense, you know? Like a box of troops is like $30, right? Like if I really want troops to have a shotgun instead of an auto gun, it might just be better literally to go get a different box of troops than to magnetize them, because it's just such a pain. Or just to be like, oh no, these guys, they always have shotguns or whatever, you know. That might be the better way forward. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence on it. I've been trying to figure out the magic secrets of magnetizing, because I genuinely enjoy it, which is why I magnetize a lot of stuff. But some of them I don't enjoy, especially doing the little guys. They just are not the best. Alright. You go over back in the corner. No! You need your flamer. How else will you waft flame? Let's see, you guys, you can use some more. Here we go. Man, I mixed up a lot for the second round. Way more than I did the first time. Alright. Go. Go. Oh, I am. Yeah. So there were definitely some models that, man, I had to drag myself to finish this year. A lot of it was just sort of like one-off leftover guys, like the Flamers of Tzeentch, like models I don't really like, but I have from like a Start Collecting box or something like that. You know, those kind of models, it was like, man, I really had to drag my ass on those. Someone was also magnetized bits. The parts for that Bloodthirster, finishing his alternate pieces. Oh my god, like it took me a century to do those. Literally a fucking century. But here we go. There we go. Alright, I think that's pretty much everybody tapped up with more goop. So yeah, so we'll go ahead, we'll toss this to the side. I'll talk about my biggest failure of 2020. So I love the Mauler Fiends. I think they're cool models. I started working on one who's pretty heavily customized. So repost his hands. I got rid of the tongue from the face. Magnetized the head. His sides weapons are totally magnetized. And yeah, I started giving him a donger, but that didn't work out. Some custom tubes in there as well. But yeah, something about him. I have not connected with him, hence why he's not finished being painted yet. He is my one piece of hobby debt, which is one of the other video things I was doing for a while. I was cleaning out my hobby debt. He is the one piece of hobby debt I did not finish. Because I don't know 100% what I want to do with him. I think one of the reasons I'm not super happy with him is I don't really like how these work. Like, I like the pose, I like the big rearing up pose, way cooler than the normal model, but I don't think I like how I magnetize these. And I think that's one of my big annoyances with them this year, or with this model. So, yeah, I need to figure him out. He is my remaining piece of hobby debt. I need to figure him out so he can get all fancied up, so he can go and play with my with the rest of my cultists, not cultists, the rest of my Chaos Space Marines. So yeah, that's my model failure of this year. He's thankfully the only one I have, the only project that I really started and didn't finish, sort of like my Thousand Suns last year. But that is my big failure for 2021, and I will get him done, get him looking spiffy, get him looking fancy. I just don't know 100% what I'm going to do with him yet. But yeah, that has been my 2020 wrap-up video, where I talked about some of my favorite models. Guys behind me, did a little bit of hobby, just because I like to when I'm sitting here, to be completely honest. Here's a sludge puppy I need to spray today, get him painted. But yeah, that's just me talking about 2020, showing off my favorite models, stuff like that. Which ones I had the most fun with, which ones I liked the most painting, or I'm the proud of the most painting, stuff like that. I'll be playing single player games on Sunday. I will probably do Warcry again. I might try a single player game of 40k and see how it goes. But we're gonna get some kind of game on the table. Ring in the new year with something fun. So yeah, maybe we'll do like the Falling North Star one for Warcry. That seems pretty fitting for the new year. So yep. So that's been me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, and hope you found this fascinating. I'm going to stop holding this gray model now. Here, look at my upcoming Swarm board. There we go. That's much nicer. Much nicer. Stop. Thank you. It's a much nicer thing to look at, my upcoming Swarm board. So, if you watch this, thank you for watching, and